Hello, how are you today? Last week I talked about mindfulness, and today I'm going to go a little further, a little deeper into mindfulness and, in fact, mental health. Yesterday I watched a video on Forbes.com, and it was about destigmatizing mental health conditions in the workplace. That is, in fact, the title of the article published on Forbes.com on the 10th of October. And it made me reflect further into relationships, how we relate to others, so often thinking that people will understand our view, and that is unfortunately not often the case. And especially with mental health concerns. Say one of the things that came up from the panel of, I believe it was 6 or 7 interviewees who were talking about their condition and how they felt stigmatized in the workplace. And one of the things that was really noticeable was that even a bubbly personality may not be meaning that they are all okay and fine and great as people may believe. And as a coach myself as well, when I see somebody walking in through the door, they might look perfectly normal and okay, but when we dig a little deeper, sometimes things aren't very okay, and there may be some mental health issues or conditions as well. So it is really important to gain awareness of this, that it doesn't matter what the person looks like externally, because internally it can be a completely different story. Now, one of the things that they all agreed on is that, and they put it in a different way, but in fact they were looking at being listened to and really deeply connect with them, be concerned. Let me give you an example. One of them said that, well, she was all bubbly and people believed that she couldn't be depressed, but she was depressed. So externally she was looking like everything was okay, but internally that didn't match up. The fact that people downplay how you really feel, how you're really doing mentally, makes it like another barrier that they need to break through, and it makes it just so much harder. And another interesting fact that was shared there is that it takes about 10 years to get over a mental illness. And this is prolonged because of the stigma. Yes. Let me explain what goes on here. There is a theory called the Pygmalion effect that is very prevalent in education. Teachers learn this, maybe not everywhere, but in my training, definitely. I learned about the Pygmalion effect, and this is really important, a really important concept to understand, that when you have certain expectations on others, they might take it on board. And in fact, a great percentage does. So there was this test that was done where 2 groups were, and I think that was back in the 70s or maybe even earlier, 2 groups were, one wasn't, 2 groups were given a really difficult thing to solve. In one case, the group was people who had been pre-selected because they were really excellent academically. They were doing really well academically. And the other group, that was poor, quite poor, or middle to poor in their academic performance. The people who had high performance, regularly performed well in school were given the same tasks as the other group, but they were told that this is very difficult. This is very difficult. I doubt you'll get the result, but you'll find out the right answer, but give it a go. Just try it out. And the other group instead, who were underperformers, were told, "Oh, you got this. You've got all the skills and all the knowledge that you need to solve this." And maybe you can already imagine what the result was. In fact, the ones that performed better were the people who were given who were motivated more, who were expected to produce better results. They did produce better results. Now, if we go back to the stigmatizing of people with mental health conditions, if they are reinforced continuously that their issue is not important, that they just need to get over it, and they're having trouble, they're evidently having trouble to get over their problem, then it's not helping them to make progress quicker. Because forgetting, just ignoring a problem isn't the solution. It's bringing it to the fore and seeing how together you can solve it. And if you are a leader, a manager, a parent, a teacher, you'll need to really reinforce a skill, which is listening. It seems very simple, but listening is not as simple as it seems. Listening means to listen empathetically. Listen without judging. That is what they were after. Listen without judging. Now, when I was younger, I had some mental issues. I was going through a lot of change. I had just immigrated to a country, and things were so overwhelming because I was from a little town where I had grown up in different small towns. I'd move around a lot, and there I was in a big, huge city, and very disoriented, and nobody who could really understand what I was going through. It was really, really difficult. And it's funny how very small triggers can get you from being fine and okay to not so okay and needing people's help. But then because you're ashamed, you don't ask for help either. This is a very large topic that cannot be dealt with in such a short time. But I hope that I have given you a little bit of food for thought. If you are either experiencing a mental health condition, as they said in the video, be it depression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, like severe anxiety, or any other mental condition, then think about how you might help others to understand you better. I know it takes a lot of courage to get out there and say what's going on, especially when people play it down. You might want to gang up with others who are in a similar situation. And there's so many, 1 in 5, they were saying as well, 1 in 5 people suffer from a mental health condition sometime in their life. That's a huge amount of people. Imagine that would be if you have a work group of 20 people, 5 people might have a mental health condition. That's huge. I'm sure if you ask around or try to find out, you'll find more than one person in the same boat or a similar boat. If you are working with others who have a condition, Well, normally you're not even looking for those kinds of things. But if somebody is giving you some kind of information, they're saying to you that they're not okay, that they're not feeling fine, and you see that this is something recurrent, then it is an issue for concern. And it requires some empathy, it requires listening, it requires connecting heart to heart with people. Connect with them. Understand. Try to understand. You won't understand, because if you haven't been there, you won't understand, but try, and without judging. I'm Danny Rius, personal leadership coach, training the mind to become strong and effective. I will see you next week, and give me a like if you like this video, and follow me on Strategic People Skills on YouTube. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.